really nurture the space directly with food. The latter part of this, I'm actually going to go into mindset, and I'll tell you why those connections are really important when it comes to weight loss. And weight loss to me is inflammation in the body. The body's out of balance. And so it's easy to go grab, whatever you think is your food that you're going, I don't want to do that anymore. So that's going to be a great way to start looking at how I think sometimes how to stop blaming ourselves so much about, having this willpower. I don't believe it's totally about willpower. I believe it's just like learning about yourself, learning about the foods that you're leaning towards, and how to get connected with food that heals your body. And yeah, yeah. Because I use food and herbs. I create teas for my clients, and so I go in there and just look at, I want to nurture somebody because they're feeling extra stressed, and so I'll make a combination of stuff that they can add some hot water to it, and it'll be a tea for a couple of days for them, and it really helps. And so I'm going to not show you a tea tonight, but I'm going to show you a drink that has a combination of herbs in there. So we'll talk about that. And you know what I like about this conversation too is that sometimes being in the industry for so long, the stuff when I used to talk about this like 15 years ago, it was like I just felt like I was so out of the norm. You're like, oh my gosh, I hope people, believe this and stuff. Then the other day, I opened up Yahoo because that was on my main screen when I opened up my internet. And it was something about if you use these 4 herbs, then this is going to help you with this. And I'm like, yeah, like I've been seeing that stuff quite a bit. And then also with releasing both of my books, I ended up doing a lot of media. So about 15 years ago, I was like hot and heavy about, getting out there and, writing these books and and getting into getting on the news, for some segments. And so they kept asking me to come back talking about herbs. And I was like, you know what, this is becoming mainstream. So what I was just thinking was like just the holistic space. And I learned at Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is a well-known health coaching school. I was like thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the edge here, talking about these things. And then I started learning that when the news was like, come on back, come on back. And they were even coming to my house here because my office is at my house. And I call this the Fresh Inspiration Ranch. Everything here, I just kind of get creative and like how to keep people freshly inspired. And they would come here even into my studio and I'd have all these different foods and body movement. It's crazy, like we can actually finally really connect all this and that it's another way of doing this. And I want to go on the base of Dr. Clearfield because he'll probably be here next week, but he was here last week and the week before. But it's about that you don't have to do everything exactly to protocol. So Dr. Clearfield, I've interviewed him on my podcast. I've talked to him and had so many. Let's see. Your internet is spotty and you were offline for a bit. Am I still spotty right now, Chris?
No.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to look at my internet because I have 2 internets right now because I'm in transition of internet. Okay, this should be my best one, but if we do, okay, thank you, Monica. But if we have a problem, I'll just flip to my other one because we have 2 to work with tonight. So let's see how that works. But I like Dr. Clearfield's way of looking at things because I feel the same way. I feel very much in alignment with this doctor. And he is like, okay, this is the medicine that I use because he's a doctor. He uses medicine for weight loss, for inflammation of chronic issues that are happening, just different things like that. He finds ways to make sure. Oh, Michelle, can you just mute yourself at the top there? Yeah, Michelle is concerned about that. Okay, but he he always finds different protocols. So he may give you something, but he tells you to do things in different ways depending on if you get sick with it, if it's something that's not fully working. He finds different ways, and he has stories about this. I feel the same as a health coach that I can't serve everybody the same way. So if somebody says, I want to have a weight loss program, I could, type something up for you and say, here you go. And if you follow it, it's going to be like a diet for you. It'll work, but it's hard to connect that way. So I started that when I was doing this about 15 years ago. I just, kind of hash it out. But then I knew that it didn't fulfill me and it didn't fulfill the people I was working with because they literally would get on a diet. They would start getting on the scale and it would be about like nothing about health unless they were really dialed in as a in their health journey. But they really got crazy about the scale because they would see these things just changing really fast. And what was changing for them was something that they didn't realize, that it's not just a diet. It actually literally everything I'm going to talk about tonight, if you think of this as medicine, you're going to start recognizing some things. First is that it's going to take inflammation down because it's going to help your circulation. The stuff we're going to be talking tonight, it's going to help your heart. It's going to help calm your nervous system so that your uh let's see, kidneys, so your cortisol won't be pumping out through your body, because your cortisol, if you're stressed, that hormone which we gain weight when it's trying to help us move our body because we get tired, we get overworked, our body's not working in alignment the way that it needs to through the hormone system, the endocrine system, so that will just be pumping and pumping in your body to help you give energy. It's like, thank you for helping me, but that cortisol actually creates weight gain, especially in the belly. So the foods I'm going to be talking about tonight, it's really going to be about how can we do strategies around calming our body. So I can't wait to share this with you. Before we get started, does anybody have any questions for me? And thank you about the internet, but I have plenty of good stuff for you. I just want to make sure before we start here. All right. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. And when I share the screen, it'll be off and on where you get to see it, because I don't want to hold it just there because I get lost in the slides. Because you'll see once I share it, you can't see anybody else except just the slides. So I'm gonna give you some information. I'll pull it off just so I can be with you as a community. Again, ask any questions. I've been doing podcasts and conversations about this for 20 years, so I'm fine. You just come along and ask or comment, whatever, and you can talk amongst each other too if you're starting to get motivated with something I'm sharing. Okay, so here we go. Okay, first off, what I'm sharing with you was when I was on the news, and this was like so long ago, but I'm telling you, it's the same information because you'll start getting this feeling like you can start building upon your information here because there's new research being done. But when you start really talking about food and herbs, you're just going to get more and more educated about this because that stuff really doesn't change. This is wisdom that's been around for 5,000 years. So they're older slides. This is a younger me. So we're going into a type of a energy kind of class. I really want you to feel like what we're serving here, and get your pen and journal because there's going to be some awareness is here for you. But it really is going to feel like a master class because I want you to connect, and you can ask me any questions about anything you're working through in your health and wellness, but it'll give you information that you truly can leave with. So we're going to be talking about lifestyle hacks. I want your body to be moving. Not tonight. We're not going to do it, but this is called my 3 energy revitalized pillars. And the first thing is about moving your body. I love dancing, so I'm just talking about dancing and waking up your energy, but literally going for walks. You can be lifting weights. Weights is great for us as women because we start losing muscle mass. And the quickest way to get in alignment with wanting to get your waistline back more, wanting to feel strong, wanting to be able to get up and down off the floor, lifting weights is incredible. And you can do it in a shorter period of time than just doing. Michelle, is that your, do you have your um, stuff muted? Well, I can hear you. So you need that top left where it says mic, because I can hear your doggies. But yeah, I can hear you. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so movement, but also weight's really important here. Journaling is a lot about mindset. And when you start writing, you start learning how to bring whatever's in your brain all through your hand. And it's another way to wake up because I had to learn how to go from my brain to use my voice because I was on medicine for 20 years. And I've been off medicine for 8 years, so everything I'm going to teach you is about calming your nervous system so that you start healing your body. No matter what, if you're on medicine or you're not, what this is going to do is help your body get in more alignment. And that's why we're going to bring the mindset in also. So, journaling, self care for energy. This is about also calming the nervous system. So, anything with sitting and being quiet, sometimes in the afternoon when it starts getting a little bit dark in the fall time, just like not having any lights on, watching the sunrise, watching the sunset is a very strategic way to help you sleep better. And the sleeping is important because I know for me, I have a hard time sleeping. And sometimes I just get so excited about what I'm doing that I literally don't sleep, except maybe a few hours, and I'm like, "Oh, I just can't wait till it's 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning so I can get up," you know? So it's just life, but we have to be careful because that's where our healing begins is through sleep also. So we're gonna be talking about eating seasonal, but not just that really. I'm gonna give you some superfoods around kidney and liver. And I want to talk to you about this, but I'm going to close this off for a moment. Let's just talk for a moment here about food. Okay, has anybody here ever used food as medicine or really got into the food strategies before? Okay, Michelle. Anybody else? Because it's interesting when you start looking at this. 'Cause I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually plan having your bowl and you can just be throwing stuff in there. And if you have people in your family that eat differently, you can have a table full of different things, but you can bring in all the healthy food that you want. So that is going to be something that you seriously want to start maybe learning some strategies. And I'll tell you how you can connect with me later. So when you're looking at this, there's probably some strategies you want to do around that because I think that's a learning curve when you start doing that, when you start looking at that food that way where you can use bowls. So I buy fun bowls to be looking at food because I think it's one of the quickest ways to bring um, all of your foods. If you like crunchy food, if you like smooth, kind of, pasta food, but you don't want to eat a lot of that because when you do the salad and you do the pasta and you do some meat, you do some good protein, then it makes it kind of interesting. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. So I know when my body feels yucky. Yeah, I try and eat more veggies and fresh fruits to make me feel better. I tell you, Monica, I wasn't raised in eating vegetables, and my kids, they're starting to finally get connected with vegetables. I was a parent that I thought vegetables were boring and just like I literally could not connect with it. So both kids now, they're on their way doing their thing, but they're starting to eat vegetables where before it was like a fight in our house about, vegetables are dumb and because I used to think that so transitioning into this space of like really feeling, you know what? I'm going to say something here. I call food like that that's real colorful. I call it sexy food because I want you to feel that every color on your plate really means something. And that word sexy is very important to me because it's in your core that you want to be excited about eating that food because there's going to be some big changes that are going to happen when you start eating like that. So getting connected with food, but doing it in a way so you kind of throw in a little bit of salt in there, some pepper, some, fresh. I would do a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about because I'm going to show that bowl, those bowls I was just showing you. But a lot of it, like ginger, fresh garlic, fresh onion, so many things you can play with. And if you're not ready for that, just go for the basic stuff. I love buying dill. Dill is very, very wispy. It's very delicate in your intestines and it helps you digest food better. So that's one of the things. Another herb I'm going to talk to you about right now is take notes on this because when you're having cilantro is probably one of the most important things to put in your diet as much as possible. And the reason why is that it helps get metals out of your body. Now, metals, I'll tell you more if you haven't heard that before, but metals brings inflammation to your body. I mean, your lymphatic system can move slow. You're wondering, why are my arms getting bigger? Because it's about weight loss. Why are my breasts getting bigger? Why is you like, and because the lymphatic system is on the legs, it's on the ankles, it's around the neck. So if you're noticing you're getting bigger in the neck, it's like sometimes you can fall into that sabotage, which we'll be talking a little bit about around thinking that, oh, my neck is just looking the way it is. And you can fall into the trap of truly believing that you are doing that, your body's doing this because of getting older. And that's one of the sabotages. I tell you, whatever aches you have right now, and I was talking to somebody about this in coaching the other day, whatever aches you have now, you can pull that layer off of you by doing these strategies. So maybe you'll have a little bit of aches, but it won't be as bad as it is, whatever's showing up right now. And we'll talk more about mindset too, that can bring in the aches and pains and how the system works when you're off and you're going through your cycles and your mindset. That's why this is so important. Great, Monica. Tell me if you have any more questions because we're going to go into some veggies here and we'll see how you feel about this. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. Now, this is where we're going to start talking about like anti-inflammatory, but it'll have the titles on there. The biggest thing I want to share with you is what you're getting out of each bowl. So get the cap on that, like as if you're putting a pill in your body, but now you're going through your digestion. So you have your anti-inflammatory, your plant-based, clean eating, healthy. Think about these titles. Like you get to title anything because every one of these bowls is healthy. Gut health, gluten-free, low carb, low sugar. Now, do we have anybody in here that is dealing with stuff like I need to eat gluten-free? This is one of the things I would really love to hear because it's so complicated when you are starting to eat gluten-free because when you get to a doctor's going to share with you everything that you cannot have. And that's the list. And then it pulls you into a space of this is the only thing I can have. I mean, this is all the stuff I can't have. And then when you start thinking about what you can have, it's hard to find out what you can have. Okay, Chris, you say, not me. Yeah, good. Well, you know what? And gluten is kind of interesting because sometimes if you're having inflammation and you take gluten out for a couple of days, you may lose weight really darn quick. It's a really good strategy because when you look at this bowl on the right down 3, the gluten-free, so you have some really fun stuff here. You have your rice, but it's not a lot of rice. You have carrots. You have your avocado. Your avocado is serving your brain, and it's also a way to lose weight because it satiates you so fast. It takes care of your brain because if your brain does not have enough fat, it's 80% fat in your brain. We need to eat the fat. then if you don't eat enough fat for the day, it's going to eat at your muscle. And if you're working out, it's going to be harder to build muscle. If you're not working out very much, it's going to take all your muscle if you're not having enough fat. So it's in the mindset of learning how can you get comfortable with eating fat again, because we've all gone through that stage where non-fat was like the coolest thing ever. And then we realized, which Dr. Clearfield talked about last month, that it was when a lot of the chronic diseases just started popping up. It's like really bad. So the gluten-free, you're going to have some fruit in there too. That's a papaya in there. And that papaya is vitamin C. And vitamin C, this is what we need right now for our immune system. So this is perfect if you're looking for something. And look how it satiates you here too. And at the top left, there's chicken. I'm going to go right over here to anti-inflammatory. So this is where you're going to have some peaches. You're going to have your corn. You're going to have fresh onion. Fresh onion is great. It's so strong. It takes care of your body that you can use this while you are dealing with cancer. Cancer loves all the white foods to get that cancer out of your body. And of course, there's bigger conversation around cancer. But when you think about like the thing that we get really concerned about, most of us, is, we see people struggling with these things. So why not have a program that cleanses at the cell level? So this anti-inflammatory, and anytime there's inflammation in your body, that just brings up more and more issues that can happen. So this is why the anti-inflammatory bowl is where you're looking at maybe, connecting with. Okay, so when you look at all these bowls, just kind of take a snapshot here. In the healthy, you're going to see there's shrimp here. That's going to help your thyroid. This is me being off of medicine for so many years. You really want to think about your thyroid feeds every cell in your body. That's what that hormone does. It helps the hair grow. It helps your skin. It helps the inside. It helps repair the organs. It helps you slim down because it lets the system work quicker. So if you have a slow metabolism, this is great because this has the iodine that your thyroid needs. So just give yourself a look here. Take a snapshot of what you're looking at here. If you want my slides, I will send those to you also. Now, what the part here that I want to give to you now is that I'm going to give you a list of the top foods for your kidneys. So again, think about if you're having any medicine that you're taking, that you want to make sure that you are saying, okay, well, what does my doctor test me more on? Because they say, okay, you're taking this medicine and it can be a little bit harsher on your liver or your kidneys, because that's where we expel things out a lot. That's where it kind of balances everything. And those organs are the ones you really want to watch for. That's why I focus in on what are the good foods for that. If you're not on medicine, okay. But since these are the detox organs, you want to magically take care of this, because if your liver's taken care of, that is going to help you lose weight. So I'm going to show you what the liver stuff is, but we're going to go first into the kidneys. Now, why you want to nurture the kidneys is because if you have P urgency, you have some bladder aches and pains or lower back stuff, this is going to overall affect your system and your blood system. And if your blood is not very clean, then it affects everything. It affects your vision. It affects the way you think, the haziness in your head. And so let me get into the kidney area for you. Take a snapshot. Tell me if you want to have my slides again, but let me get in there for you. All right. Okay, we have 2 slides here. Red bell peppers, cabbage, cauliflower, garlic, onion. Now, when you look at this, first, create this as if it's your master grocery list. Now, bell peppers, the reason why we need this is because we want to make sure that we de-stress our body. And we want to balance our body so it's not so acidic. If your body is not acidic anymore, then that means that you are not going to have chronic disease. That means it's going to start healing your body if you start balancing your body with a lot of the B vitamin. A is for skin, C is for the immune system. We're getting in there during the, this time where it's right in the transition of the season. And when you're in that transition, you want your immune system built. So that's where we're going with the red bell peppers. And they're red, they're colorful. Cabbage is very, very crunchy, but also this is connected with getting your heart going. It's going to support the whole circulation. So if you have cold hands, cold feet, I want you to get in there and like saute some of that cabbage up. It's nice and firm. It adds a lot to your meal, especially if you're doing a bowl meal like what we showed there earlier. You're talking about really dealing with cancer also, because this is believed to be known as what they call a phytochemical. So another thing, we got the cabbage on here. We have the onion and the garlic, those white things. Cauliflower, you got your fiber. We're always looking for fiber to help the bowel movements. And then vitamin C is really important again. Your garlic, again, this is where it's going to support and reduce your toxins and get it out of the bloodstream. That's why when you first start doing a diet like this, you may pee a lot because the inflammation is going to start releasing, and so you may go and pee, and that's going to be a great thing because at some point it'll level off. It brings down your cholesterol also, because if you're dealing with anything like that. And then your onions are, of course, about clearing the blood vessels, because if you have fatty stuff in there, if you're eating quite a bit of red meat, but sometimes your body's just not cleansing things out. Sometimes you have a system where your lymph nodes are getting really stuck, and that's when you start noticing again where your shoulders and your arms are getting bigger. You're like, why is that happening? It's because you're getting stuck in that area. And we're trying to balance so you don't have any issues with being like being lost in your diet. This is like strategies that are going to help you move forward in everything that you're doing. So the next slide is the last part of the kidney nurturing. And this is where apples are so good. If you do an apple a day, you have your fiber. You have your fiber that's going to help take that extra cholesterol out of your body. And then it's also going to nurture your intestines. And why this is really important is that when you start nurturing your intestines, then you get away from diverticulitis, and you get away from things that really actually can affect so many people out there. So does it make a difference what color of cabbage you use? Yeah, Donna, you know what? Because the purple is going to do something different than the white cabbage. This has a lot to do with your skin and your organs. So play with the color. And of course, if you're mixing it up, then you're going to be feeling like, hey man, this is a sexy meal here. I'm going to be leaning up and I feel really good, because that empowers you when you feel like you finally have the control over your diet. Okay, so any questions at all? We're jamming. Okay, we're going to go into the liver. The liver is the mama board of everything. It comes with the endocrine system. It tells when the brain is going to be detoxing and working. It's going to help with balancing from your heart. The liver talks to everything in your body. Again, if you're on medicine and you're dealing with liver and get an extra look at your liver because the medicine can be hard on it, your liver, with all the new cells that you get every single day, it really repairs itself. It's one of the fastest organs to heal. And that's why this food is really important. We have between 70 and 74 trillion cells. They're so tiny, but to nurture them, you want to make sure the 1 million cells that you're getting every day that you're creating in your body, that's why you want to be connected, very much connected with the food that you're eating, so that you can know that your blood's going to be changing and that your endocrine system is going to be getting balance, and all that stuff is what's going to help you get to the next level. And this is where you start eating, and that your food is your medicine. Do I have everybody here with me? I have a feeling that I'm speaking to myself, but I see people typing, and that's okay too. I can hang with that. All right, everybody. So let's get in. Thank you. I know, I was thinking about this. I was looking at the time going, it might be dinner time for some people. So I'm glad that you're here with me. Thank you. Okay, so let's get in there. Let's get into the liver. Give yourself a moment here and think about what you want from this. Because this is the jam. This is the jam. Starting to cook dinner? Hi, Monica. I'm so glad you're cooking dinner. Cook some dinner for me too. And then bring it over. Okay, let me share the screen. We're going to get in there with the liver, and this is why this is important. We really started talking about this, but ask any questions if I'm missing something, because this is something that you'll be getting a lot out of. And that's a disconnect with the stuff that you're dealing with. I'm dealing with stuff too, not being on medicine for 8 years. I'm consistently shifting and learning stuff. So these things, the reason why I made this list for you is that this is what I look at every day. Like, what do I want to add in here? So when you're doing your bowl, you can go in and do some broccoli. So let's say that in your family, um, there's levels of eating. Sometimes I think, like some people in my family like eat like kindergarten, and that would be like my son Jacob. Like he's learning to evolve. He's starting to eat salads. He's starting to eat vegetables. He's starting to barbecue. But oh my gosh, him not being connected with vegetables because I didn't start him that way. He was at that level, and even kindergarten, some people are eating incredibly well. Well, the thing is that when you start shifting into this, you'll notice that you have more energy. I remember when it was before I started taking medicine and I started eating healthy, which meant I was starting to eat vegetables. And I was talking to my roommate and I said, man, I have more energy. And I was like kind of angry, like, why, kind of thing. And she said, Rhonda, because you're eating healthier. And I was like, oh, that's why it's doing that? So that's how disconnected we can get. So think about the range where you are. I think broccoli is an easy one, total easy one to be able to get in there and eat. You put butter on it a little bit, not too much, but you can saute it. You can put some garlic in there. You can put some fresh lemon. There's actually a recipe I love with fresh lemon. Okay, now why liver enzymes are important? Why broccoli is important? Do you see that first line, liver enzymes? To wake your body up, you need liver enzymes in your system to wake you up. If you're having a hard time waking up and you feel, that means your liver is out of balance. One of the biggest things of why we're focusing in on this, it's easy to get fatty liver. Now, the next one is avocados, but if you think about this, avocado is not making you fat. Avocado is satiating you. Avocado is giving you a liver detox. Like if the liver gets detoxed, that means you're going to lose weight. So in moderation, which means, you know what, if you're eating avocado a couple times out of the week, oh my gosh, you're going to be loving what your body looks like. There's going to be a big, big difference. Beets. I have a beet salad. And if you want that, please tell me. It is beets and it has green apple in there. So the Granny Smith, it has a little bit of lemon and olive oil. It has all this really good stuff. And I never used to eat a beet salad, and fennel's in there also. And I was like, oh, this is so weird. Because I used to work with the health coach too. Like I hired a health coach to help me in transition when I realized I need some extra help in my diet. As a health coach, I'm going to another health coach and saying, okay, I've learned how to take care of the organs, but right now my diet is not in alignment to where I need to be. And she helped me in that next layer for me. And you'll hear my doggies, my hubby just came home and they're just wild and crazy about that. So I want you to think about beets, the red, the iron. Let's fuel the blood. Let's get the circulation going. Let's help things move forward. That liver, oh, you nurture that. Your upper belly is going to stop swelling so much. That's one of the biggest things I have a challenge with is the upper belly because of being off of medicine. I don't think of myself sick anymore. I think of how can I take care of the whole body because my thyroid was not working so well because of my stress and because the foods I was eating. When I started getting that in alignment, I started realizing how I could control more of my sleep, how I could control my cravings. And if I'm craving sugar, because that's what I used to eat all the time at every meal, that I know that my liver's off. So I go to this beet and fennel salad. I do not have the beet and fennel salad for you tonight, but I will get you that recipe. I'll tell you how you can connect with me. Garlic, another one, because in your blood, you have all these toxins. I mean, that's not the blood moves it out of your system. So to clean that blood is powerful. So when you're eating that garlic, it just breaks down those chemicals. And we talked earlier about cilantro, and I didn't finish that conversation. The reason why you want cilantro to pull the metals out, but you get metals all the time. It's flying in the air. You have your phone, you have blankets, you have all these things that literally carry metal, all these different kinds of metal. And if you want to know more about that, I'll get you a handout on that too. Leafy green vegetables, let's get in there. This is like the easiest stuff to add in, because if you like salad, why not? Now, this is anybody that's dealing with not having your gallbladder. I have so many clients that have lost their gallbladder before they came into the wellness area. You want to take care of your bile. You wanna make sure that that leafy green is helping the liver cleanse itself so it doesn't throw bile out there in your system, because that is where you're going to really have a painful stomach. And if you're having issues with the swelling of the stomach, the upper part, I would love to talk to you more, because this is easy to take care of. And if you're on the verge of losing your gallbladder, which a doctor will say you do not need your gallbladder, I'll tell you what, it takes a full year to recover when they take that gallbladder out. And then your gallbladder holds that bile. And if you don't have that anymore, the liver is known to have to work 5 times more. We want to take care of that liver. We want to live an extremely healthy life. And this is where you rid yourself of all those extra aches and pains, is taking care of the liver. Let's go to the next one here. Turmeric, let's put that in hot water. Let's put turmeric in pretty much everything. If you're taking supplement, I would just get some fresh turmeric, or I would get the powder. And the supplements, they're okay, but it's nice to have some fresh stuff in the system. So this is where this is an Indian herb, turmeric is, and this is what is known to connect with their longevity. So this is something to think about. And you're going to see that you can actually put turmeric in everything, because it's a mild taste, but it does powerful things. You can do it in your salad dressing. There's so many ways, but the hot water is great too. Green tea, don't drink it all day, because it's a really awesome thing to do, but you have to be careful about overdoing things that detox your body, because if you keep doing detoxes, what it does, it takes all that special extra minerals out of your body. So you don't want to keep detoxing. You want certain times of the year to detox. I used to do detoxes every 3 months. It's a great way to kind of just get ready for the season. Why not? So that's where you want to start looking at, like, doing green tea maybe once a day, not all day. Then you have your cabbage. Oh, it's on here. Same thing. So your cabbage is taking care of both detox organs. So you got your kidneys, and you also have your liver. Walnuts is really good for the omega-3 fats. That's where your circulation is. That's going to take care of your heart also. But you see where we're going with this? Lemons and limes. My next one, I'm going to show you a drink that's going to be so easy, and it's going to look fun. Who wants fun with food? I mean, come on, we're ready for that. All right, Monica, let me get to the recipe. I have no gallbladder. I had my gallbladder removed. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because I didn't understand this. When I opened up my studio, it's over 15 years ago. I was extremely depressed. I was doing my accounting CPA stuff. My kids were growing up. I wasn't there for them. And I'm like, I need to get back into the health industry. I started at 19 years old, and I'm mid 50s now. And so for 10 years, I was doing accounting CPA stuff. My kids are growing up. I'm not there for them, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it just made me so sad. I went back into the health industry, and I semi-did accounting in my CPA. I'm glad I passed the exam, kind of thing. But I also learned something about, we need to live in our passion. So whatever you're doing right now, be passionate about it. The more that you get into what you're doing, find out where you're serving. So as a CPA, I was serving people. I got to consult and help them make decisions. Finances are very scary for people. And I never did taxes, so I never went on that side, but I worked with teams, and I helped people report, out billions of dollars when I was at Sutter Health to millions of dollars when in the department that I was taking care of. I was looking at millions of dollars to help the CEO that was looking over the clinics. And why this is important to know is that we're talking about food and we're talking about mindset, but we're talking about calming the body. Sometimes we're in scenarios where we just want to rid ourselves of some people that are around us because it's our work atmosphere. And when you have that, it's very difficult to live every day and feel passionate about things. This is where you get to figure out how to have this ownership of that everything can't be perfect, but how can you work through this to be able to help people around you so you can serve, but also so you don't have a demise about yourself and your character of within your body and your character. Because if we're very unhappy, we're going to show up maybe the way that we don't want to. These things are so important. This is what I think about. I do a lot of mindset coaching, but just take a deep breath in and just see where you are right now with that. Because I want you to live in your passion, whatever that means. And if it's not at work, find your grandchildren, find your kids. Relationships are very important. So I want to show you this drink again, just kind of give you an idea. And Corelios, which is in that drink, it's a powdery mushroom, but you can use any mushroom powder, and you can get that right on Amazon. You can get it at your local store, because some people do not want to shop at Amazon. They're like, I don't want to do that. Amazon is convenient. But let me show you this, and it looks fun. It's like, you want your food to look really fun. So let me finish off over here, and then we're going to finish off the total time together, just talking about mindset. I'm just going to give you some space to really get in there. So be ready, get your journal. This is one of the high points that I really love, is that mindset motivation. So we're going to get in there and rev it up. All right. We want our body to de-bloat. We want to lose weight. We want those joints to stop hurting, those knees, those elbows. Just the other day, my hubby was out of town for a few days. I barely eat when he's not here. Guess what, though? I'm not eating my protein. I'm extra working. I'm like, working up to the time I almost when I want to go to sleep, because I get crazy. Anybody else get crazy about when you just get into projects or you're just like overworking yourself? I got that way. So my left elbow was hurting the heck out of me. And it was because I wasn't in alignment. Now, we want to make sure that we don't give ourselves crap when we're doing stuff like this, because the shaming is not going to get us there to go back. It's also going to be that you may even hide. Like everybody else, you're eating good around them, but you go and turn a corner and you go into the pantry and just grab something real quick. I have a background of doing that. That's one of my total eating disorder kind of approach there. And I've learned to eat in front of people on everything and not feel guilt. And it's helped me, because it's helped me eat healthier when nobody's looking. So give yourself time to think about that. So this is something you're going to have overnight. Ginger, excellent. Ground turmeric. Take a picture of this or I'll send you the slides. Cayenne. And this is all going to take care of your body. Because when you're de-bloating, that means you're taking care of your liver. That means that you're taking care of the flow. Overnight, bam, it's done. We got your bowls also that I showed you. All of this is going to take care of your weight loss. Now, with your weight loss, you're going to start feeling, there's something you're going to start feeling good about. So when I got off of medicine, almost overnight, it could have been 6 months, but I mean, it happened really fast. I literally gained about 60 pounds, but probably up to about an extra 80 pounds at some point. And it has to do with I was not getting myself into alignment. When you get off of medicine and you're really serious about it, you know what I did? I just stopped taking the pill and I said, all right, balls out, let's go. But the most important thing is to recognize not to do that. I'm like, ego. I'm in the health industry. I'm going to do this. But that meant that I had some nights where I didn't know for sure if I was going to make it. And I said, I'm crazy. I'm crazy when it comes to health. I want to learn how to manage and take care of people. And so it's almost like an experiment. I learned these are the top 3 things I learned. Our body is more resilient than we realize. It's so easy to get scared when we get sick, when we can barely breathe because of dealing with pneumonia and just different things that go on. Take care of yourself. Think about those dark days when you feel like you're not going to make it, because you will. Get into alignment of this stuff. Get into your vibe, but what you really care about. My body movement was almost taken away from me for a while because I wasn't stepping into it. So who am I to think that I can take my thyroid medicine away and not do much change? Work out, but I was working out when I got on medicine. So we're going into the mindset area. I want you to think about this. We're pairing your food like almost like a fine wine. The mind partners so much with the food. And I'll tell you why, so you can kind of see the flow of the body. When you are dealing with cycles in your mind, we're known to do 60, 70,000 words. If we do that, that means there's a lot that we don't know subconsciously that we're doing until we start getting quiet and start hearing our patterns. So it's easy to fall into the rabbit hole, feel sad, not know why, feel depressed because we don't know what's happening in our software, our brain. The only way that I know how to get to the brain that I had to work in is that, Monica, thank you. I'll send you some information. Is that when you start feeling comfortable with being quiet, and that's a hard thing. If you're used to going and moving and trying to get away from whatever it is. And we can say we're trying to be busy on something because we have a big project, we have this going, I have so much to do. And that's one of the sabotages that happen. And I'm bringing you information again, everything that I'm working through being off of medicine and the depths of what I was learning, I'm doing right now here for my health coaching clients. It's called Be Raw, Get Bold, Be You. Vitality movement. When we start doing those kinds of things where we find the dark times, it helps us connect. I had to do that for myself. I wanted to find this bold space, which is the other part of the name of this retreat that I do every other week. And when I started doing that, how can I get bold? My brain is telling me all these things that are not working for me because it's in a fight or flight. So, what we want to do is we want to do some heart center work. That heart center work is going to help calm the mind. And when you start calming the mind, then your mind calms down while the heart grows. You see, the mind kind of takes a back seat, and then you're thinking through the eyes of your heart. And this is heart coherence. A lot of science around it now. When you start really looking at yourself, almost as if you are the universe over your body, you start telling your body how much you are sorry that I've been eating, such and such stuff. And you start learning about how to be nice to yourself. And it's one of the hardest things because how many times have you really told yourself, dang, you're looking beautiful? Maybe when you thought physically you looked good because somehow we think we're supposed to be looking a certain way. That's one of the things I learned about leaning in and discovering what this journey was really about. It's not about trying to fit in something, trying to follow everybody, stress yourself out to be able to do that. That stress needs to be pulled and released out of you. The other thing that I learned was that since my body was resilient, that I didn't want to take it for granted. And when I decided that, that meant that I couldn't buy a whole container of cookies and eat them. because I knew that it was hurting my body. And I would do that. I was in my 20s, but now 2 cookies will get me. Before I buy a whole package, let's just go work out. That's all hurting your joints. That all inflames. And when your body's inflamed and you're working out, that can hurt the joints. It kind of pushes things off kilter. It's the balance isn't there for you. Does anybody have any questions? Positive self-talk needs to improve for me. I'm telling you, Chris, we're not raised with this. Okay, so my kids got, a guidance in this because somehow I ended up in this industry again, and I just went for it and created something like a business of this. But when I first started with the kids, I mean, there were so many things that were going on, so many generational things that now I'm like, I need to be with certain people in my family. They're on that track with me. But some people I had to walk them out of my life, and it was so painful. But I knew that if I did that, it was going to help with my healing. And I knew that the people that I walked out, that they were still going to see, hey, this is not a fight. This is like, I need my health. We all do. So let's all get on the same page about moving forward. And not everybody's on the same journey as us, but you will know that you're going to be healthier. You're going to have better relationships. You're not going to feel so much as a deficit in your life. You're going to start noticing that you really love yourself. And when you look in the mirror, you're not going to see whatever you think is wrong. And I got to tell you, I was running my podcast yesterday. There's this beautiful man. He's going towards 60. He's been working out for a long time. He just released a book. He wanted me to interview him. I've known him for some years. And you know what? I looked at him and I go, gosh, he has a perfect body. And he said, I can look in the mirror and I can find 10 things that are wrong with me. And I was like, you know what? And that's not new for me to hear, but I wanted to bring that here for you because you start recognizing you will never be happy with your body if you're never happy with yourself. You won't think of yourself that you have to look youthful. You're going to think of yourself, how can I look sexy and healthy? And sexy is going to be redefined. It's going to be, you're going to be able to see this energy, this vitality, and you can't see nothing but love coming from you because you've been working on the mindset motivation, the healthy part of you. And your heart, our heart in my family, tight, closing people off, and really a lot of heart attacks, mainly women. But we have lost a couple men also. My mom comes from a family of 9 kids. A lot of people dealing with heart. So let's stay in our love. Let's stay in that space where we really get to start healing. And the healing comes with the mindset because the mindset will shake up the nervous system. The nervous system will throw the cells off, throw the endocrine system off, the hormone system we're not just talking girly hormones here of the estrogen and progesterone. Our whole system works on this whole system of hormones. Watch how much you eat through the day. Watch the snacks. Now, we used to think that, and this is the American way, that if you eat every 3 hours, it's great. Think about how you're tiring your body out. We need about 64 hormones to digest every meal. Now, if you think about it, that means your whole body has to be working every single time that you eat. Even if you have one piece of food, boom, 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 you have to do that. So what you want to do is satiate yourself with avocado, with garbanzo beans. Get a big bowl, put a salad there, get a big bowl. It's kind of you get to eat a lot when you do this too. It really feels so good and healthy. Throw in some garbanzo beans, throw in some, and if your thyroid is working really well, you still have other things going on, throw in some kale because your thyroid, it works okay with kale, but you don't want to do it all the time. You can throw in broccoli. You can throw in, some meat. You can throw in some seeds. You got the crunchies. You got a little bit of salt. And let me tell you one other thing that I would love for you to do that this is going to help you slim down like that. It really will. Make sure that before, like, let's say morning, midday, and afternoon, have a little bit of salt, a wholesome salt that's iodized. Because when you're eating salt in your food, it bloats you, it messes you up because your food's trying to get into the cells to give you energy. But if you don't take salt by itself and let it sit and get into your cell, just straight up salt, that means just a few granules. It goes through your mucus glands. Your body disseminates it to the cells to get your water. Yep, Himalayan salt is great. There's so many good salts out there. But if you don't have the salt in your cell, wholesome salt, not table salt that thrashes your body, then your body will be able to absorb the water. So if you've been drinking a lot of water before and you still feel thirsty, that means that it's time to try this strategic process. But I tell you, I think it's for everybody. It'll help heal your kidneys and also your bladder. It'll stop a lot of the pain of just running to the bathroom with pee urgency, because when you're drinking water, it doesn't get in the cells and it goes straight through you. And if it's going straight through you, that means you're really dehydrated, that your cell is not pulling that in. When you're dehydrated, you're hungrier. And then you're also dealing with any kind of chronic pains that start happening because you need water for the meniscus in your joints, the joint movement, the elbows. You need all that to get your joints moving. So if you have achiness in your joints, then this is where you want to be able to start looking at these specific things. I have this recording too. And I'm going to give you a link. If you want connection with the slides, you connect with me. And I have a vitality connection that you get to do if you want it. You ask me anything, I will give you 45 minutes of free. Everything that I talked about here, I'll get you the slides. I'll get you connected with what you want in this holistic world. I've been doing this for 25 years. I believe that this is the partnership with whatever you know about Western medicine. You tell me, man, all this science stuff that's out there right now, we need this wellness plan. This wellness plan is going to partner with Dr. Clearfield support group. This is what he believes as a doctor. When I went to health coaching school, this is what we were talking about, and all my teachers were doctors. I would say about 90%. And they were on the circuit. I could see them, that's what made me want to go and do the media side, is that helps us get out there louder and bigger. But all of them were out there on the circuit really teaching this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I really want to be part of this. And I've taken this very serious with my 2 books, with the 14 Days to a Flat Belly. This is a guide. There's my calendar. It'll open up another page so it won't close you off. 14 Days to a Flat Belly. This is about blood sugar balance. This is when my dad passed away. My baby girl was in my belly when my dad passed away. And I had the privilege of helping in the latter part of his life. He was a beautiful man at the latter part of his life. A lot of his life, he was struggling. He wasn't always, the best guy. But his latter part, I got to enjoy, this dad of mine. And then the Fit Solution, this is all about FITT. This is about making your goals. The last part is Thrive. We all need to celebrate. I'm going to finish this last part about Thrive. So grab that link, hook yourself up with a meeting with me. You will want it. This is free. Everything I said, sometimes it's hard to absorb what I'm saying because I've just been around it for so long. That's why I said keep asking your questions. I love that you're sharing about the gallbladder thing, because there's so many people out there. I know somebody that was 14, they lost their gallbladder. And I know that actually the diet of the family was struggling. So sometimes it's that, sometimes it's just because your body's struggling. So a lot of emotional stuff. Let's finish off with the Thrive. Focus, integrate, transform, thrive. That's the FIT process. Now, every goal, when you look at your food, when you look at your mindset, anything that you are moving forward, the only way that you keep moving forward and making those changes instead of digressing. Thank you, Chris. The way of digressing, Chris, make sure you grab that link. The way that you digress is that you don't celebrate. So we need to celebrate. The more we celebrate, the more it's going to help you move forward. And the more that you move forward, the more you're going to get away from that past stuff, past generational stuff. You're going to open up a new path for yourself. Mwah. Tell me if you need anything else. Use the link if you need. And I appreciate you. Donna, it's so nice seeing you. Michelle, I don't know. I don't know who's everybody was muted, and we still had dog stuff going on. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, and then, Michelle, you can stop the recording. But I think because Michelle, you're the one that has the dogs, you must have another, window open, and I was trying to figure out where that was, because you're muted in this one, but I can hear you talk while you're muted.